What's up, guys? This is DJ Matt, and welcome to another episode of Sports Chat with DJ Matt. As always, DJ Echo is here.
What up? What up? What up?
Three, what up?
It's got to be three.
You threw me off because I think you did it in a different way. You usually go like, what up, what up, what up? But then you did like really slowly today, which is
Yeah,
fine. Yeah,
I gotta make it up on you. You know, can't stay stagnant.
yeah, you need to keep me on my toes sometimes. That's
That's
all.
right.
All right, so let's get into it. So the Saints, they played the Falcons again last week, and they handled their business. Although the second half, more so into the third quarter, fourth quarter, the Saints kind of, I don't know what happened. They kind of lost some steam there. They still won the game, but Atlanta made it interesting. So that kind of made me nervous. But arguably Taysom's best game, so that's something to be encouraged.
Definitely.
Through the ball on third down. I gotta tell you, third down. I said this too when I was watching the game. Like whenever it was like 3rd and 10, if Drew was in the game, it's 3rd and 10. I'm kind of like, I don't know if we're gonna get this. I'm nervous to get it. But with Taysom, like his best throws were on the third downs. Like I'm like, that's his best throw. Like you know what I mean? Like
Right.
I love his presence on the third downs and the way he threw the ball and the decision making he made. Like I think it was 9 of 13 on third down or something. So that's really good. So that's something I came away with. I was like, this dude on third down is great. Like I was never nervous on third down. I was like, we can pick this up. So I'm like, Taysom was just balling on third down. So
Yeah, he looked really good, and I was really happy with them beating Atlanta again. And it's funny, in the last 2 years we're undefeated with Drew Brees not under center.
somebody said like Tom Payton's 8-0, but they said, well, technically he's 8.5-0 because Jameis played the second half of the 49ers game. So technically he's 8.5-0. So I'm like, I'll take it. Yeah, the same. I mean, the defense kind of, but Atlanta's a good offense. As bad as a team as Atlanta is a great offense. I compare them to Houston. I think Houston has a great offense still, but it's just they're not a good team. I think that's a good comparison in a way. I think the Saints defense kind of let off just a little bit, and they didn't sack Matt Ryan as much as they did the first time. So that was kind of an interesting thing.
I mean, to win the game, you don't need to sack
Yeah,
the opposing quarterback 8 times. I mean, you just
but against the Falcons, we come to expect it. So that's why it was kind of like,
yeah,
But as long as we win, I don't care. It's good.
exactly, yeah.
So Drew is supposed to come off IR this week. I think today we're gonna find out if he's starting against Philly or not. I think we should play Taysom one more week because I want to save Drew for Kansas City because that's gonna be next week, I think. So we need to save him for Kansas City. I think we should let Taysom play this one, and plus it's gonna be at Philly, so that's
Yeah, it's probably a good idea though. Yeah.
And other Eagles news. So they benching Carson Wentz and they're putting in Jalen Hurts.
It's about time.
Yeah, but I wish it wouldn't be this week because I think them leaving Carson Wentz in would have given us the best chance to win, in my personal opinion. Jalen Hurts is still kind of like when Taysom's first start, right? We didn't know what to expect. The same thing with Jalen Hurts. Like he played well in the time he played against Green Bay this past week, but we still don't exactly know what's to come with that. You know what I mean? Like we're still kind of guessing what he's going to be. So it's going to be a tricky game for the Saints. I think if they do get pressure and they can sack him, I think we'll be okay. But Jalen Hurts can move out the pocket, make some plays with his legs. So it's going to be a tricky game for the Saints defense. I think if the defense holds up, we should be fine. But I'm nervous. I don't like that they're making this move this week. This is bad timing.
I don't know. I think it'll be okay. I mean, of course, the thing is that you can lose any game, but I mean,
Yeah.
of course, there's more problems to the Eagles than just Carson Wentz. I mean, he was like the main problem, but
I don't even know if he's the main problem. I feel bad for Carson Wentz. Everyone's blaming him, and I know he's not playing well. And like they say it's a confidence issue, which I can totally understand. But benching him is not going to help his confidence at all. I don't know. Like that's not going to solve any problem. That's just going to. I mean,
I guess, but the thing is that right now the Eagles are still technically in contention for a playoff spot. If somebody like the Cowboys or the Giants would have like a better record and the Eagles would be out of playoff contention, then I would understand just keeping him in. Like, yeah, just keep him in, let him get that confidence up. But you're in contention for a playoff spot right now. And I mean, of course, even if you go to the playoffs, you're not going to win a game. But like, there's still a reason to want to win games, and it seems like right now they're like, okay, Jalen Hurts gives us that best opportunity to win games. We think at least over Carson Wentz. Of course, Jalen Hurts could come out and throw 50 picks, So you just don't know. But right now they're like, okay, well, we've been losing with Carson Wentz, so let's at least try Hurts.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that wholeheartedly. It's just the way New York and Washington's playing. I don't know if they're even going to catch up to them. I really don't. Like, we'll get to them. We'll get to them later. But I mean, the way the NFC East is shaping up, like, I think it's too late for Philly, honestly. Like, I mean, I'd rather not make the playoffs than get embarrassed in the playoffs. If you know what I mean. Like, if you're just gonna get
Yeah.
bounced in the first round, then don't make it to the playoffs.
Well,
Like,
I mean, the problem is that one of them has to go. So
yeah. Well, I mean, now I feel better about it. If it's New York or Washington, I feel better about it because they're actually playing really. I mean, Washington beats Pittsburgh and New York beats Seattle. So it gives me confidence that if they were to get in, that maybe they could upset one of these teams. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I feel a little better about it, honestly. But if it's Philly or Dallas, they're getting their butts kicked in the first. I guess it's just a foregone conclusion.
right.
Because like I don't know if you remember, but the Monday night game, I believe New York and Tampa, that was a close game.
It was, yeah.
So I believe that New York could potentially upset Tampa. Like,
Yeah, and I think the Giants have won 4 in a row right now. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now.
and Washington's on a 3-game win streak. So, I'm kind of off of the like. Now, if they were all losing still, like if it was like they each all had 3 wins still, I'd be like, yeah, they don't deserve to be in the playoffs. But they're winning games, and they're winning games against good teams. So I think that they would. I think they deserve one of them deserve a chance to be in the playoffs because I think they're playing really good football, and they're not bad. I can't say they're bad teams. Like Washington, New York are not bad teams. I can't say they are. It's just they had a slow start, new system. It's mostly because Dallas and Philly suck so bad. We did not expect that, for them to suck this bad. So I think that's where that came from. Was like, well, Dallas and Philly are not in it because if you think about it, we thought New York would get 5 or 6 wins. We thought Washington could maybe get 5 or 6. I mean, they're kind of where they're supposed to be in a way. So, but the fact that Dallas and Philly suck, that's what's surprising everybody, I think.
Yeah, I mean, hey, everyone's happy whenever Dallas sucks. So
Yeah, it's true. Oh, we saw the game. I didn't see the game, but I saw the stats. They ran. I think Ravens ran almost 300 yards against the Cowboys, something like that,
yeah,
which is pretty bad. I feel bad for Andy Dalton too, by the way, because he's not
I
bad.
mean,
It's just Dallas sucks.
yeah. There's nothing else to say. Dallas sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get to the Browns now, because I mean, I've been saying this, and I've never jumped off the Browns bandwagon. I've still been on it. Baker's a good quarterback. Can we all admit it? Can we just all finally stop debating over this? Like, he's a good quarterback. Is he the flashiest? Is he gonna get you? Is he gonna do that every week? No. But you don't need him to. Like, he's good enough to where you're gonna win games with him. I mean, can we give the Browns some respect? Can we?
Well, I think here's the problem. We look at people like Patrick Mahomes. We look at people like Deshaun Watson. We look at people like Russell Wilson. Well, maybe not Russell Wilson so much, but we look at people like this, and we use that as the standard for quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. True.
Whenever Patrick Mahomes has a different play style to an Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers has a different play style to a Lamar Jackson, and Lamar Jackson has a different play style to, a Big Ben or Baker Mayfield. So I think the problem is that we're trying to compare Baker Mayfield to a guy like this that we know is successful and will get you the yards, but we're forgetting that there's such thing as being a game manager. You can totally be a game manager and still be a good quarterback. I mean, look at a guy like Eli Manning. He was a
Yeah,
game manager,
especially toward the end of his career.
right? And he still beat the Patriots twice. One of them an undefeated team. So I do think that it's unfair to criticize Baker Mayfield. Um, I'm with you on that one. Like you said, he's not the greatest quarterback in the league, but he doesn't have to be, because if he's got good wide receivers, if he's got a good running game, if he's got a good O line, and if he's got a good defense, realistically, you could slot anyone in there. It's not like a situation where you would need a guy like Aaron Rodgers or Patrick Mahomes to carry that offense. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes have weapons. So I don't know. I think it's an unfair argument. Now, if they were losing games and he was playing like this, then that would be one thing. But I mean, they're
Yeah.
not losing games. They're second place right now, and in the AFC North, and with the Steelers looking like they're starting to
Yeah.
fall apart, they're
They
they're they're,
they
they're
rough. I feel bad for them.
there's a small chance. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. I'm also not saying that it's going to happen, but there's a small chance that Cleveland could win the AFC North this year.
They have a better record than Baltimore, which if you would have told me that at the beginning of the year, as much as I love Cleveland, I thought they had a good chance this year. If you would have said they had a better record than Baltimore at this point in the season, I'd probably been like, you're joking, right? But they have a better record than Baltimore. And I'll put it this way, look, beginning of the season, if someone said, okay, you could take one of these two quarterbacks, Carson Wentz or Baker Mayfield, I bet you 9 out of 10 people would pick Carson Wentz over Baker, right?
Probably.
Yeah. Now, and look at the season now. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. Now, 11 out of 10 people are not taking Carson Wentz over Baker Mayfield.
And I think Kevin Stefanski is the right coach for that team. Like, I'm so glad they finally figured that part out. At least, whether I think Baker's the quarterback of the future for Cleveland. I think he should stay in Cleveland because I think Kevin knows how to use him. I think they're not a passing team; they're a run team. With Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, they have one of the best rushing attacks in the league. So, I mean, if you stick with the run, if the run's working, it's going to open up the play action, which is where Baker thrives the most, I think.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with one of their two big wide receivers out, it's probably better to focus on that one game right now.
Yeah, so I think they found the right formula. I mean, and that defense too, what they did to Derrick Henry, I mean, that's impressive. I mean, Myles Garrett's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year too, which I think not enough people are really talking about because I know Aaron Donald's doing his thing, you got TJ Watt, but Myles Garrett's doing his part. Like he's doing really good this year, having a good season, especially after what happened at the end of last year with the whole knocking off
Helmet.
the helmet.
Yeah.
So that's good. So yeah. So we kind of already talked about the NFC East, so we don't really have to get into that again. So let's go with game picks. Let's do game picks.
Wow, we're already at game picks, Sam.
Well, I guess I want to get some basketball in, so I'm kind of.
All right, that's fine.
So I won this past week again. So it's 7-5 now. It's tightening up. So be on your toes this week.
Yeah.
So this week's a normal week. It seems like no crazy Tuesday night games anymore.
Yeah, and I think this is if all of these games, if none of these games get canceled, this is actually going to be the first week since one of the early weeks that all the games that were supposed to get played get played.
I think 2 weeks. Last 2
Yeah.
weeks. So Thursday night we got the Patriots at the Rams. Who you got?
Ooh, Patriots.
Patriots are 6-6.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
I think I'm gonna go with the Rams here. I
Yeah.
think the Rams will win this one.
Yeah, I think that defense is gonna be too much for Cam because they're not really throwing the ball like at all. It seems like they're just running it. So
Right.
I think with Aaron Donald in that front line, it's gonna be tough. So the Sunday games, we got this is a tricky one. Texans at the Bears. This is a tricky one. I don't know.
It is tricky, but the thing is that Houston, they're not losing like they're losing these games, but they're not losing these games by a lot. Whereas Chicago, people are really scoring um are really scoring points on them. Like if I go, I mean last loss was close, but I mean you look at the Packers, they lost by a lot. The Vikings was a good bit, but Titans was a good, so their last couple losses
Well,
were gotten by.
it's not so much that they're letting teams score on them. It's the fact that their offense can't score. I think that's more so what's going on because I think that defense is still good. Like imagine being on that defense, right? You're one of the best defenses in the league statistically and roster wise, or you should be at least. And your offense just sucks. And it's like you're busting your butt for 12 weeks now in the season, and your offense still can't get it together. That's very frustrating. So as a defense, do you feel motivated to really play?
No, I wouldn't play. Which is why I'm picking the Houston Texans. I think at this point, Chicago, that locker room, they're just so discouraged to do anything. Because if you want to talk about being discouraged, The Chicago Bears this entire season have scored 7 points in the third quarter
Yeah, that's it. All year.
all year.
That's bad. So
It takes a special team to do that. A special bad team to do that.
yeah, yeah. Chicago is. I mean, they're still technically alive for the playoffs, but I don't see it. I think they're done. I think they've lost 6 in a row now. 5 or
Yeah,
6.
they
Yeah,
I think 5 in a row because they started the season 5-1, and then now they're 5-6. So or 5-7 or something like that.
something like that. It's not. They need to draft a quarterback in this draft. Or unless they get somebody in free agency, but
Yeah, trade for Dak or something if he doesn't sign.
I don't know. Chicago's a weird mess. Houston's interesting too because I forgot to write this down. I wanted to bring this up. I know I've said this before, but Deshaun Watson, I don't know. I mean, I think he regrets signing that contract.
Oh yeah, definitely. I
Like,
wouldn't have signed it in the first place.
me neither. I want my ass out of there. I'm not going through a rebuild. Like that's a a good 2-year process, 2 or 3 year process. That's like at that point, it's almost your career's already halfway over almost. Like they're going to waste his career like they did Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford. That's what's going to happen, and I don't want that to happen.
Right? Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't understand why he signed it in the first place because I mean he knew that they were going in rebuilding. Like, you traded with DeAndre Hopkins. It's like, okay. Like, why
Well,
am I going to stick around then?
some people were saying that like once they traded D Hop, that Deshaun Watson should have went up to Bill O'Brien and said, "Trade me."
Yeah, straight
That's what I
up,
would have did. You're gonna trade my best receiver for nothing? Get my
trade
ass
me.
out of there.
Yeah,
Honestly.
straight up. And look, he could have gone to like a Chicago or something, and then they would
Yeah.
have their quarterback situation figured out.
Philly could be a destination. San Francisco's could be a destination. Atlanta. I mean, there's a whole bunch of places. New England. There's a whole bunch of places he could go, and I feel like he'd have better success with. Imagine Deshaun
Probably,
Watson and Bill Belichick together. I feel
probably would,
like
would
that'd
be
be a great.
good. Yeah, but no, he and now that he has that contract, he's less likely. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, because it's gonna be tough to trade him because of the dollar signs. Not because not any team wants him. I'm sure all the teams would want him, but people can't afford him because of the contract. Same thing with Carson Wentz. That's the same problem with Carson Wentz. It's like his contract's too big. It's gonna be hard to move him, and if they do move him, that's like 60 million off the salary cap.
Yeah,
So it's a tough situation. That's why when you pay a quarterback the big money, you better be certain that he's your guy. And Deshaun Watson is that guy. Like he's gonna be your guy, but
he's the guy, but there's just no team around him.
I feel bad for him. Like damn. All right.
Anyway, moral of the story, I guess we're both picking Houston.
Yeah, we're both picking Houston. So the next game, Cowboys at Bengals, another tricky one. Eh. I got the Cowboys only because I don't know if Cincinnati. I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking about picking Cincinnati, but now that I think about it, it's like I don't think that they have like I don't know that team is just terrible with Joe Burrow. I mean the team was not good with Joe Burrow, but the team is just terrible without Joe Burrow. They got to do something.
it's that I'm telling you, they gotta really spend that first pick on the O line. That's
Yeah,
gotta be what
I'll
happens.
go with Dallas as well. But yeah, no, they whatever they do, they need to do what New York New York did. I think it was and draft an offensive lineman, the best offensive line in the draft. Just, I mean, didn't I think it was Cincinnati that played Miami last week. I think it was.
Yeah, because they almost
I
had those
think
fights, which was great.
yeah, they had a fight and they panned out to the bench, and guess who's sitting on the bench? The offensive lineman.
Oh yeah, because yeah. Well, that was
I
like
think,
when was it Dallas that they had a fight with or something? And like that whenever they I think they hit Andy Dalton really hard or something, and like the O lineman or whatever, or the team didn't come fight for Andy Dalton or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, it's kinda like that. Yeah.
like wow, you're not gonna stand up for your guy.
Yeah. So yeah, Cincinnati's interesting. They got a lot of potential though. Like offensively, they got a lot of potential. Joe Burrow was playing amazing. It's just O line sucks. I think they got the weapons. It's just the O line sucks. And the defense, they could definitely O line and defense is what the draft should be this year for Cincinnati, in my opinion. So I think with T. Higgins and if they still get AJ Green or I don't know, but I still think they got some weapons that they can throw the ball to. And Tyler Boyd's a great receiver too. So you got him. So
Right.
next game, we got Kansas City at Miami. It's kind of an intriguing one. I,
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good game, but Kansas City looking really good right now. I will say it's kind of funny. Tyreek Hill catches a touchdown. If you didn't see this,
Oh yeah,
but it was kind of weird because it bounced off of his hand, like it bounced off of him because the DB played it correctly, and then they both fell to the ground, and the ball falls into Tyreek hands, and it doesn't touch the ground. And I think the problem is that the DB came and hit the ball out of Tyreek Hill's hands. So the ref didn't have a chance to see if he had caught it. I guess Tyreek Hill didn't say anything, and Andy Reid, none of the players challenged it, and they didn't realize it was a touchdown until Kansas City punted the ball. So at that point, it was too late. But I mean, they won the game anyway. Anyway, anecdote aside, I'll pick the Kansas City Chiefs.
I got the Chiefs too. I think they could potentially be on upset alert because I like what Miami is doing. Tua is, everyone's comparing him to Drew, which I kind of see. He's like the left-handed Drew Brees, which I kind of like.
Yeah, a bit more mobile too.
And I think Colin Cowherd said this on the show yesterday or the day before, whatever. He said they're kind of building their team like the 2006 Saints of you bring into an accurate guy, doesn't make too many mistakes. You got a solid defense. You got some weapons. They say he kind of compared him to the 2006 Saints, which is very interesting. The fact that it's gonna keep building and building. So that's
I mean they went to the Super Bowl not just a couple years later. So I mean
Yeah, Miami's a team on the rise. They really are. I like what they're doing down there. And Tua, I know he got benched the other game, but that's not that big of a deal, honestly.
No,
that's not. I was like,
That's not anything.
But I think the Chiefs could potentially be on upset alert if they're not on their A game. I think they can't play around with Miami too long. I think Miami could surprise them. The Raiders did because I think they didn't take the Raiders that seriously, and I think they kind of paid the price on that one the first time they played.
Yeah.
The next game is an interesting game because if you look at the records, it's only a 1-game difference between the Cardinals and the Giants, which that's kind of wild to think.
I don't want to talk about it.
I still really like the Cardinals. I really do. I'm not jumping off that bandwagon, but this season they started off really hot, but they're on a bad trajectory right now. Giants are rising. I got the Giants in this one. I think the Giants are playing better football right now.
I'm also picking the Giants, and it's hard for me. It's hard for me to do this, but they're just not. Arizona is playing well. They're just not closing out games. That's what I feel like is happening.
Yeah.
They're just not closing out these games. And New York is looking really good right now, and I'm trying something different. I'm gonna start picking against the Cardinals, and maybe they'll start winning. I can live with being wrong in picks as long as you're also wrong for that pick, and Arizona wins. So it's a win-win-win. I'm happy about it.
Think about this stuff. Wasn't that Hail Mary against the Bills? Arizona, I think, would have a losing record, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So
yeah.
I mean,
it's frustrating as an Arizona Cardinals bandwagoner. Anyway.
Yeah. It's just not there. I don't think it's their time yet. I think they're showing great promise. They're still a good team. I think next year. I think next year is when they're gonna take that jump. I really do. I think Kyler Murray is gonna be an MVP next year.
I would be so happy if this year the Saints won the Super Bowl and then next year the Cardinals go win the Super Bowl. Oh my God, my little heart would just be so happy.
Yeah. So the next game, another interesting one: Vikings at Buccaneers. Buccaneers coming off the bye, so and Brady's amazing off a bye. Everyone's saying that Tom Brady's great after a bye week. So I got the Buccaneers in this one, but if Dalvin Cook can get cooking, I think Tampa Bay's gonna have some problems.
You know what? Tampa Bay. Tom Brady might be coming off of a bye. Tom Brady might be Jesus coming off of a bye. But you know what? Don't care. Still don't care. I'm picking Minnesota. I think Minnesota has been just firing on all cylinders right now. Tampa Bay, even going into the bye, was not looking as good as they should be. I think this is an upset alert, and I think Minnesota takes this game against Tampa Bay. It's Tampa Bay. You may be coming off a bye. Don't care. Lose this game, please.
It's interesting because I wonder. I mean, on a bye week, it's a rest week for the most part. But I mean, if Tampa Bay really needs to figure some things out. So if they took that bye week, like Tom Brady and BA, if they came together in that bye week and tried to figure some things out, I mean, that could be beneficial to them. But I don't know if they did that or not. That is, we don't know. So
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not going to know if that happened or not. But you know what? I'm looking at Minnesota, and that offense is one of the best offenses that I'm seeing right now. And I mean, it was crazy to think because Kirk Cousins is the quarterback. But with Dalvin Cook, with I think who should be offensive rookie of the year, Justin Jefferson, with Adam Thielen, they're just oh my god, like
yeah,
I mean, fantasy wise, both Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen are putting up 20, and then Dalvin Cook is putting up like 30. Like oh my god, so they're
putting
just
barely 15.
yeah, I know, but like they're going at it. I mean the defense isn't like anything special, but I mean they're doing what they need to do. So I really think that Tampa Bay is just going to let Minnesota just walk all over them. And that offense is
If they can't stop Dalvin Cook, then Tampa Bay is in trouble. That's gonna be the key, I think, because I think
but
that's
but 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 even so, whenever Dalvin Cook doesn't do anything, you still have those two. I don't know. I think Minnesota wins
tricky
this.
game.
No question to ask.
It's a tricky game for Tampa Bay, no doubt. And I just got Tampa Bay because I think that I believe that they might have figured some things out maybe during this. But I think they'd be stupid not to at least try to figure some things out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
I
mean,
got Tampa really, and they're at home. But Minnesota could definitely pull off the upset. I was going back and forth with this game because I really didn't know.
all right. Well, good. We need some picks that we for.
So the next game is another interesting one. Denver at Carolina. I think Christian McCaffrey is supposed to come back. I'm not.
I think so too. Let me see. Let's check.
I think he's supposed to come back. I'm not 100% positive, but yeah, but Denver though. I mean, Denver's
Yeah, it looks like he's going to come back.
okay.
Supposed to come back this week.
Well, but aren't they? Carolina's missing DJ Moore though, I believe, too with COVID.
I think so.
That's
Let's check that.
See, I don't know. Denver's one of those weird teams. It's like I feel like they could win any week. It's just they don't, and like I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't know. Carolina too, the same way. It's like they're not a bad team. It's just they're not consistent. I don't know. It's toss up really. I got Carolina in this one just because Chris McCaffrey came back and I think he's gonna get going. So I picked Carolina, but it's a close one.
Yeah, I don't know. Denver, uh, that Saints game doesn't count. What did they do last week?
Last week, who did they play last week?
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now. They lost to the Chiefs.
Yeah, and they played them well. It was a close game. I mean,
They did. Yeah, it was what was it? 22-16. It was close the whole time.
it was close.
I think. Oh, God.
I don't see. It's
This is one that I don't know because Carolina has been doing a lot of good things, but they've been kind of losing games. Same thing with Denver. I'll go with Denver. I'll go with Denver because because I'm looking at the rest of the games and a lot of them look like no-brainers, except for maybe one or two. So
yeah. Well, the next one's a no-brainer. Tennessee at Jacksonville. We're gonna probably both pick the Titans, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Derrick Henry's gonna have a bounce back week. He's just gonna have a monster week this week. So yeah.
Yeah. That was. I mean, after that Cleveland game, oof. I don't trust Tennessee. I don't trust Tennessee in the playoffs. I really don't. They're too inconsistent for me, honestly. Like, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird season. I don't know. Next game, is actually a very important game. This game. This could decide the
A lot of things.
not the 8th seed, the 7th seed. Colts at Raiders. Because I think the Raiders are the 8th seed. I think the Colts are the 7th seed right now. So it's like really close. So I got the Colts in this one. But I mean,
yeah, I'm also picking the Colts. I think the Raiders are starting to cool down. They were kind of hot coming off of that Chiefs win and even kind of going into it because they had beat the Saints at that time. But I think they're starting to cool off now, and I think the Colts are starting to heat up. Even though they had that loss against the Titans, it was still close. So I think that the Colts are starting to heat up at the right time, and the Raiders are starting to cool down at the wrong time. So I think the Colts end up winning this one.
I do too. Colts still. The Colts are still the Colts and Tennessee are tied. I think for the division right now. Tennessee has a tiebreaker, I think, because of conference wins or something. So
Right? Yeah,
so that's gonna be a battle till the end. That's not gonna be decided till like week 17 probably. That playoff.
probably.
So
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
probably.
Next game, Seattle at the Jets. We didn't even talk about the Jets. What the hell type of play call was that at the end of that game? I mean, the going all out blitz, and then and the fact that Adam Gase had to fire you, like Adam Gase of all people, the one to fire you. I mean, Jesus
So
Christ.
look, so look. Out of every play that's ever been recorded in that type of situation where they're down, I think it's like 4 or 5 points. It's more than a 40-yard play, and there's within I think 10 seconds in the game left. That is the first time that a defense brings more than 6 people. Because usually in that situation, you're like, okay, let me bring just 3 guys, and then the rest of my guys are going to be in the end zone. But nah, they're like, nah, we about to blitz.
This is how bad it is. If you think about it, the Jets were in a lose-lose situation anyway. Because if they won, they lost. Because it's like, well, now what are you gonna do? Like, are you still gonna get the number 1 pick? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's that. And then if you lose, you're gonna lose in the most Jets way possible. So either way, if you win, you lose, and if you lose, you lose. Like it was a lose-lose situation, really. That they were in.
And I mean, they did lose in the most Jets way possible.
It would have been classic Jets if they would have won. It would have been classic Jets when they lost. I mean, it's just the way it is. And I guess they chose to lose. I mean, it was better off that they lost, actually. But, I mean, you can't lose. I mean, if you're going to lose, you can't lose like that, though. I mean, Jesus Christ.
But speaking of losing, what do you think about the Seattle Seahawks right now after losing to the Giants?
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, they're just inconsistent. I think they're just inconsistent.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think the defense is a liability, but even so, actually, right now,
He's been playing better.
Russell Wilson is becoming a liability, and that's hard to say. But he's been throwing a lot of interceptions, these past few weeks.
Well, Chris Carson just came back this past week, so I think that's a big part of it too. They didn't really have a good run game. Carlos Hyde was also out too, so they didn't have a threat of a run game. So they were forcing Russ to really throw the ball a lot more. I think that's where all the turnovers came from. I just don't know what the deal is in Seattle. They're just inconsistent. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know what's really wrong with them, you know.
Yeah.
But Seahawks are going to win this game. It's the Jets.
Oh yeah, I mean yeah, it's not even close. But yeah, I don't know. The playoff scene is starting to level out. And I'm not saying it looks like the Saints have the best chance in the NFC, but it's looking like right now the Saints have the best chance in the NFC.
There's 2 teams that scare me right now in the playoffs. The Rams and the damn Vikings. Yeah, bad luck against those 2 teams. And they're both in the playoffs. And I have a feeling we're going to end up playing one of them. That's what I don't want. You know what I mean? I like our chances better against Seattle than LA. And I just don't want Minnesota in the playoffs just because. You know?
Just because of bad memories.
Yeah, you know. So, I mean, I think if we're gonna have to face our demons and play one of those teams.
Hey, okay, but can you not tell me that would be such a good story that we lose to the Vikings, we lose to the Rams, we lose to the Vikings again, and then we have to play one of them, but we overcome it to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
couldn't write it better myself.
Yeah, but I don't want to play. I don't want to face them. I feel bad. I'd rather play Green Bay. I'd rather play Seattle. I'm serious. I'd rather go to Green Bay and play Green Bay than play LA at home. I'm serious, because I just don't know. I just don't. I still have PTSD from the last 3 years of playoff. I really do. Like that's making me nervous. I'm serious. You think I'm joking, but I'm not.
I know you're not, and that's the funny part. Anyway, speaking of Green Bay at Detroit. Another no-brainer, if you ask me.
Yeah, Packers.
Oh my god, so funny.
Yeah. So we're just gonna move on. Saints at Eagles again. Look, Jalen Hurts is starting for Eagles. They're playing in Philly. This is prime. Saints could potentially be on upset alert. But I still got the Saints winning the game. But
again, I said it earlier. I say don't care. Still don't care. I'm picking the Saints. I still think they win. Don't care.
I believe if the Saints do win this game, I believe they do clinch the division because if they get because the Tampa Bay lost 5 games and the Saints are at 10 right now. So if the Saints get to 11, they're going to clinch the division because they have the tiebreaker over Tampa. So
Yeah.
I believe if they win this game, they clinch the division.
I don't know. I kind of want us to have that first round bye,
I really
but
do
I
too.
also kind of don't. I don't know. It's tricky.
It is tricky. I don't know. So next game, this was actually a tricky game. Falcons and Chargers. I really don't know. Chargers got destroyed by the Patriots last week.
Chargers look like donkey doo doo. Like, I'm sorry.
Justin Herbert still, I mean, looks to be a great guy, great quarterback. I think Anthony Lynn needs to go. I think they're gonna change the coaching.
Yeah.
And I just don't know. Like they have the talent on both sides of the ball. I don't know why they're this bad. Honestly, like it's weird.
I'm picking Atlanta.
I'm picking Atlanta too. But
Yeah, no. I don't know. I'm kind of to the point where I almost want to say that I'm not saying that Justin Herbert shouldn't be in contention for offensive rookie of the year. I think he is.
oh yeah.
But I'm to the point where I think offensive rookie of the year should either go right now to James Robinson or Justin Jefferson.
I would throw Chase Claypool in there as well. There's a
But
lot this year. There's a lot. I mean, you
I
can't
think so.
really go wrong, really.
I think so too. But honestly, I think Justin Jefferson probably out of those would get it. But I don't know.
I think what James Robinson's doing in Jacksonville is kind of going a little more unnoticed because it's Jacksonville. But I mean, I have him on fantasy. That was one of the best pickups I did was pick up James Robinson. He's like, if it's a close game, they're gonna run him, and he's a pretty good runner. He's a really good young running back.
Yeah, but I think the good thing about James Robinson, and I mean, it doesn't matter, but like he was undrafted, like he wasn't even drafted. So I mean,
yeah,
pretty good.
yeah. So like everyone puts a lot of merit into like first round pick, second round pick, but really you can find gems in like the 7th round, 6th round. I mean, Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. You know what I mean? Like you can find talents in those rounds. It's, I feel like we put a little too much on the first round picks, and I feel like there's a lot more first round busts than there is, first round successes. If you ask me, a lot of the times,
It's probably even, but yeah.
Yeah. So the next game, football team. It says at San Francisco, but technically they're in Arizona. So football team.
Yeah, whatever.
The Arizona 49ers.
The Arizona 49ers, yeah.
Yeah. 49ers are just too hurt. And football teams just beat the Steelers. I'm really high on them right now, so I got the.
Yeah, I'm also picking the football team. I think they win as well.
Yep. And Antonio Gibson has turf toe, I believe, or something, so he's gonna be out.
Turf toe.
But I wonder what turf toe really. I mean, I've heard that term before, and a lot of people have had it in football. But like, what is turf toe? Like, you just like sting your toe really bad and you can't walk or something. Like, what is it?
Might be something like that. I don't know.
Like,
Who knows?
It's just a weird injury to have turf toe. Like, what?
Turf toe.
I might look it up after the show. I might look that up. Maybe I don't. I don't know if is it. I wonder if it's a gruesome injury or not. I mean, it's the toe. You can't really see the toe because of the shoes and stuff. But like, is it a gruesome injury? I don't want to look at images and be grossed out. I don't know. Whatever.
No idea.
Sunday night game though. Sunday night game, good game. Steelers at the Bills. Josh Allen played really well Monday night against the 49ers. I think they're saying he's back into the MVP conversation. I think it's going to be between Mahomes and Rodgers, though. No matter what Allen does, it's going to be Mahomes and Rodgers. They're going to battle for MVP. But Josh Allen, we said this. He's taken that step, I think, to being a great quarterback, an elite quarterback, and Bills are on the rise. They're a team that's live. I think if any team's going to upset the Chiefs, the Bills should be in that conversation, I think. So I think the Bills are a really good team. I got the Bills beating the Steelers.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So I got I'm also picking the Bills. I mean, I thought that you were going to pick the Steelers, but I don't know. A lot of people have been saying that they're like the weakest undefeated team that they've seen in a long time, and I kind of have to. It's not that I'm agreeing, but like the competition that they faced wasn't just non-existent. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Well, here's the thing: the Steelers. I give the Steelers a pass though. Because, I mean, twice they got screwed over with the scheduling. Like, they were forced into an early bye. So they've been playing, 7, 8, 9 weeks straight, and then this past week, the Ravens COVID situation, they had the rescheduled the game like 3 or 4 times against Baltimore, and then they were on a short week. Like they were gonna lose eventually because like there's no way a team can be that like can keep that up and be that with all that going on. I just
Yeah, but I don't know. Even so, during towards the beginning of the season, like the people that they were beating, it wasn't even good team. I don't know.
they had an easy schedule, but they got a really tough one. Now. You got like, the Bills coming up, the Colts coming up, I believe, and then the Browns to finish the season. So it's
Yeah.
a lot of close games for Pittsburgh. We're gonna really see if they're a good team or not. I mean, I still think like they were my dark horse pick in the beginning of the season to go to Super Bowl. They still are, but I'm kind of. I mean, I think this was a good loss. I think it's a good loss. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is saying that the Steelers are a bad team. It's just that
compared to the Chiefs, everyone's comparing them to the Chiefs because that's but
to be undefeated and to be playing like that, it's just like I don't know, So
yeah, I totally get it. Monday night game, a great Monday night game. We got the Ravens who just destroyed the Cowboys are playing against the Browns who just destroyed the Titans in Cleveland. So I'm picking the Browns in this one. I think the Browns right now are a better team. They're playing the most consistent. If they don't ask Baker to do too much, because the Ravens defense is still good. If they don't ask Baker to do too much and they can run the ball effectively, I like Cleveland in this game. I really do.
Yeah, I'm also picking Cleveland here.
So we only differ on one game, it seems like.
2, Minnesota and Tampa Bay and Denver and Carolina.
Oh, that's true. All right, 2 games. All right. I missed that one. Okay, cool. So, yep, those are the Week 14 schedule. I think game of the week is probably Pittsburgh-Buffalo, though, if you ask me. It's probably game of the week.
Yeah, it'll probably be
Baltimore-Cleveland close second. And then I would
Kansas
throw and Raiders, too, in there.
I would say Kansas City Miami is going to be a good game as well.
Them, too, yeah. A lot of good games this week. A lot of close games. Not, I don't know. This is going to be a weird week. Anyway, so those are the game picks. So let's get to some basketball. So there was a big trade that happened that I don't know why I felt surprised, but I kind of was surprised. But Russell Westbrook, who was once my favorite player, but now is my second favorite because of Luka, but he's my second favorite player. He's in Washington now with the Wizards, playing with Bradley Beal, and John Wall has come to Houston. Will that keep James Harden around? Probably not, because he still wants
out. Yeah, he made it clear to the team that he's okay with being traded to Philadelphia or another contender.
I saw something last night
that I don't know.
Like Paul George for James Harden. I saw maybe that could be a move. I don't know. I mean,
now look. This is the thing. Are we ready to have the conversation about James Harden? Because CP3 got traded. Russell Westbrook just got traded, and they both look happier on these teams. Like I know that they're just taking pictures of them smiling, but is James Harden the problem? Because the people were saying like, "Oh, Russell Westbrook is the problem," but
I mean, Westbrook is kind of a diva, but a lot of point guards
exactly. I get that. I get that.
But I don't think Harden as a person or as a player is the problem. So I mean, Russ and Harden are still tight, like because I mean Stephen A.
Yeah, no, of course.
Like, they're still like best of friends and all that. It's just they just realize that playing together is just not a good fit. I think it's the play style that Houston's been playing with. It's tough for players like for Russ, who's ball dominant, to play in an offense where James Harden's the one with the ball all the time. Like that's a tough pill to swallow. And Chris Paul is the same way, where he's also kind of a ball dominant point guard. It's just although they were better with Chris Paul than Russ, I will say that. But then again, they did trade like Clint Capella, and they went really small ball in Houston, which I think was a big mistake if you ask me. If they would have kept Clint Capella, I think they could have been a better team this year. But that's neither here nor there, I guess. But I think it's just a play style that they play with. It's just tough for other point guards, especially ball dominant point guards. That's why it's interesting with John Wall. That's why it's interesting with John Wall. I feel like it's gonna be kind of the same thing if Harden stays.
Yeah, but I will say this. I mean, you look at it. Russell Westbrook first day was early by like 2 hours. Second day for training camp was early by like 3 hours. James Harden hasn't even shown up to training camp yet. Was seen at a strip club. So it's just like
Arrived in
I don't
Houston.
know. Yeah,
So he is in Houston. He arrived yesterday. So I'm gonna look once he goes through all the protocols, he's gonna show up eventually at like training camp.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I think Harden's gone. I don't think. I don't know.
He should be. I think it's time to move
Harden,
up.
but this is the problem with Harden is that he wants to go to a contender, and any contender he goes to, it's not going to be a good fit because they already have any contender already has their guy,
Think
and it's
about
going to be hard for.
it. He goes to Brooklyn. Kyrie Irving's another, I would say, a ball dominant guard. He's more of a shooter than Russ and I think Chris Paul is. But with the handles and all that, he's gonna be facilitating the ball most of the time. And you got Kevin Durant too that needs the ball. Like, there's only one ball to go around. So, the
Right,
thing
exactly. And I mean,
I was gonna say, like,
even if you go to Philadelphia,
well, yeah. Well, if
yeah,
he goes to Philly, they're gonna have to trade Ben Simmons, and that will
yeah.
probably be that problem, which would be interesting. But I don't know what to do with Harden. I really don't. Like I said, they were talking about maybe Paul George for James Harden and out for LA. But even then, I don't know if that would even work. I mean, I would still
No,
like the Lakers over them.
that's what I'm saying. I don't like James Harden because he needs to be on a team where there's no other superstars. He needs to be like a Giannis. And I know that Chris Middleton's on there, Drew Holiday's on there, but at the end of the day, they're not superstars like a Giannis is, like Harden is, like Kyrie, KD, LeBron, Kawhi are. Whenever you pair up James Harden with another superstar, the problem is that James Harden is such a ball dominant guy, and especially in Houston, the offense was centered around him. So you had guys like Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook was used to OKC where he was the guy.
This is the tricky thing with Harden. You're right. If he goes to a team, I feel like he needs to be the number one guy. But here's the thing: if Harden is your number one guy, I don't think you're winning a championship with him. That's the weird thing. It's like he needs to be the number one guy, but he's not good enough to by himself to bring you all the way. Not
But because of Harden's play style, he has to be the number one guy because of the. And I know in his early career he came off the bench, but he's played too long in Houston to where he's the number one guy and he just plays ISO the whole game. He is not going to be able to adjust in enough time if you put him on a Philadelphia, if you put him on a Brooklyn, if you put him on a
what
Clippers
about
to be
Miami?
successful.
I feel like Miami could be a destination that it might work because Jimmy Butler's not really a ball dominant guy. Like no one there you can really say is ball dominant over there. I feel like if James Harden went to Miami,
Yeah,
I
but
feel
Jimmy
like
Butler's a no nonsense guy.
huh?
Jimmy Butler's a no nonsense guy. He no drama kind of
I think that's
person.
good for Harden though. I feel like Jimmy Butler will keep Harden in check. I think with Bam there, you have a big. I think Miami would be the only place really that I could see. Whereas they'll probably trade Tyler Hero. You'll probably have to trade a lot of your depth, but I think it could work. Weirdly
I don't
enough,
know. I
I
don't like
can't
the
think of
move for
anywhere else
Miami.
where it would work though.
I
I
don't like the move for Miami, honestly. I've been saying this. I think if Miami wants to add anybody, add it in free agency. Don't trade away that young core that they have because the reason why Miami is so successful is because they have so much depth coming off the bench.
true. Yeah,
So
I don't know. With Toronto, I don't think Toronto would be a place either. I mean, unless they trade Kyle Lowry back to Houston, reunion in Houston. I don't know. I don't see many places where James Harden would fit other than a Brooklyn, but I don't know. It's weird. I don't know. Until I see it, I guess. I mean, we really won't know.
the problem is that Harden is so ball dominant, but he's not good enough to be ball dominant. Like he's good, but
Like
he's just
if you're on the
so
Nets, you're not playing iso ball all the time because you have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. There's no way you're playing iso ball like you did in Houston.
no,
There's no way.
no. And look, I mean, you want to look at a good example of someone who can play ISO but can also knows when to step into the role. Brandon Ingram. Whenever Zion Williamson was out, he was playing ISO ball and it was working. And then whenever Zion came back, what did Brandon Ingram do? He took a more complementary role. He would still play ISO every now and then, but he knew Zion Williamson's the offense. And he's okay with that because, I mean, hey, he got his max. So, I mean, I'm sure he's not
Still
complaining.
put up, what, 23, 24 points a game, something like that?
He still put up the numbers, but the thing is that he wasn't playing ISO like he was playing whenever Zion was out. He would still play it every now and then, but Zion's the guy, so you get the ball to Zion, but you can still
I
take
think
that shot.
ego is a big part of this too. I think James Harden now has like a really big ego because, I mean, he's been the guy for so long now. It's gonna be harder
Yeah.
for him to change. I think with Brandon Ingram, he's still kind of finding his game, still finding himself, still developing. He's able to adapt, I think, a little bit better than a James Harden would. James Harden would not be able to adapt the way Brandon Ingram would. And I think that's gonna be the biggest difference. Can James Harden, wherever he goes, can he change it up a little bit? Can he take up a
And
different role? You know?
I think that the answer is no. And I think the thing is that's why he wouldn't fit in Miami, because Jimmy Butler's such a no nonsense guy that wouldn't gel well together, because he has no place for ego. Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
Miami, same. I think all players in Miami kind of have that same mindset as Jimmy Butler, mainly because they all see Jimmy Butler as like their leader, like their mentor. But James Harden, putting a guy who's so ego driven, I'm not saying that James Harden is like that, but whenever you put a guy like James Harden in that environment, it's just not going to mesh well. I don't care if you're the best basketball player to ever live, it's just not going to go over well.
Now that you say that, you think of heat culture. James Harden does not fit heat culture. Now that I think about it, you're right. I'm starting to see your point. Like James Harden, I feel like you think of James Harden, you don't think of like a heat culture guy. Like he would. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. You might have changed my mind on that. So really,
Good, because
so really, at this point, it's like where James Harden can only work in Houston. It seems like. I mean, I don't know where else he could work.
that's what I'm saying. Houston, he wants out of Houston, but Houston is the only place right now where he is going to succeed. Because he goes anywhere else, these are your options. You either go to a contender, and you're just not going to fit because of your play style or your attitude, or you go to a non-contender and you're just not going to be relevant enough. You're not going to go to the playoffs.
I was thinking maybe – I know Minnesota's not a contender, but I was thinking maybe Minnesota would be an interesting spot. But I'm like, I don't think – the way Cat is, I don't know if that's going to work out either.
No, with Cat, and then they just drafted Anthony Edwards. They have D'Lo, and I don't know.
Yeah, so James Harden can only work in Houston, it seems like. That's the way it seems. Yeah, I don't know.
But he wants out. But it's like, James, you're the problem with being at the guard position. You have to be selfless at this point. You have to be.
Yeah.
Because if you want to be part of a super team, you can't be a ball dominant person. You have to, because the people that he wants to team up with are also ball dominant people. And like you said, if he goes to Philadelphia, they got to get rid of Ben Simmons, because they can't have Ben Simmons and James Harden. And then what? Because it seems like Philadelphia wants to keep Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid together. It seems like they're stuck on that. So I mean, James Harden should just. I'm sorry, James Harden should just stay in Houston, and until he can prove to people that he can change his attitude and he can change. I just don't know.
Well, let's talk about the Wizards a little bit here, because that's the other side to this. The Wizards getting Russ. I think the Wizards are actually going to be a team that I think the East should pay attention to. I think they're going to be a good team this year. I think with Russ and Bradley Beal together, that's a good backcourt. And then with Rui, who's really emerged, and you got Bertans, I think Wizards could definitely be a threat in the East.
Well, you look at after the All-Star break, whenever Bradley Beal got snubbed, obviously, and just played out of his mind. If that Bradley Beal can play as well as the Russell Westbrook, who I think was playing for OKC, who was going crazy. If that can happen, I think Wizards are a team to pay attention to.
Definitely.
In the East, I agree. I think that the Wizards will go to the playoffs, no doubt.
Yeah.
But if we can get a Bradley Beal like we got after the All-Star break, and if we can get
let's say Washington against Toronto. I think Washington could beat Toronto in a 7-game series.
Yeah,
I do. Miami. I can see them beating Miami too. Like, I think Washington's gonna be a really good team. I'm excited. I mean, I love Russ. So I did not like Russ on the Rockets because first of all, I'm not a Rockets fan to begin with. I'm really not. So rooting for the Rockets because of Russ was kind of tough for me. I was like, I kind of,
Yeah. Right.
that
Yeah.
is in Washington, and I like the fit with Bradley Beal. I'm like, you know what, Washington? I don't mind rooting for Washington for a little bit. I mean, I can get in that bandwagon. I mean, I like it. I mean, Bradley Beal deserves some. Bradley Beal, I think is. I mean, I think he's a little underrated too, if you ask me. Obviously,
Yeah.
like, you bring up the All Star snub, which was obvious, but I don't think I think the players know, but I feel like outside of that, like because he's in Washington and Washington hasn't really been that good, and with the John Wall drama too, dealing with his injuries and stuff, like people forget how really good Bradley Beal is. Like he's really good.
I don't know. After this season, after that All-Star break, I don't know. People forgetting they're just being ignorant.
Yeah. So let's get to some Pelicans news. So they announced the first half of the schedule. They didn't announce the full schedule. The first half of the season has been announced. The Pelicans have, I think, like the third or fourth most televised games. They have 14, I believe, which I
Yeah.
think is once a week. So that's really fun. So we get to see a lot of Pelicans. So I've been watching. They started training camp Sunday, the actual practices and stuff, and I've been watching the press conferences after the practices just to see what's going on. So the first day, the Sunday, Stan Van Gundy strictly went defense. Just like we got to fix this defense, and they said that they kind of focused on transition defense because that's kind of the hardest defense to play. Like especially after a turnover, like a steal or something, you have to hurry up and run back. So that was something they emphasized and then I believe the Monday they did offense, and I think they had two practices Monday, like a morning practice and a night practice. And they tried to do 5-on-5 stuff. The thing that he said that they really need to work on is turnovers. And with a young team, that's still a relatively young team. They kind of got a little older because you had Adams and Bledsoe, kind of two older guys, but they
But
still are very
still, overall young.
overall young. They're still turning the ball over a good bit. So they need to limit the turnovers, which in turn will also help their defense.
Yeah.
So I like Stan Van Gundy, when he was hired, like he was a guy I completely forgot about because he was broadcasting. I didn't think he was going to get back into coaching. You know what I mean? Like it's just it kind of slipped my mind of people to. But so when he was hired, it was like then it was kind of a weird thing for me. I was like, I don't know. But obviously him being from a defensive background, I'm like, well, that's something I addressed. Like they need to fix. So to get him in, I thought, okay, well that might be good. And then seeing what they're working on and what he's emphasizing, I'm like, okay, I'm feeling really good about this hire. And then getting Bledsoe, who's a great defensive guard, and then getting Adams, who's one of the best defensive centers in the league and a great rebounder, and then with Zion also in that backcourt, front court, whatever it is. I'm liking what I'm seeing and hearing from this team.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think that they'll definitely surprise some people. I think that they can make a little bit of a playoff run. Of course, not going to the conference finals, not going to the finals. But I think that they can make a playoff run. I think that they can upset some teams. I like it. I think we're primed in the next 2 or 3 years to win championships.
Well, these next couple of years are very important for the franchise in general. Like because Zion's going to be here for 5 or 6 years, right? He's on his rookie
Right.
deal and all that stuff. But so we got to prove to Zion that we can be at least a contender. You know what I mean? Because obviously with the news of like LeBron signing his 2-year extension or 3-year extension, whatever it is, and AD signing his 5-year extension, Lakers are going to be a problem for the next 5 years. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's kind of what's making me nervous about the Pelicans' chances of being, a championship team, of at least getting there. I think they
Yeah.
can contend, but can they really do it? With the LeBron and AD being around, so that's
Well,
tricky. But
yeah,
it,
it seems like for the Pelicans, the bigger challenge is going to be getting through the West than getting through whoever the East sends to the finals. Like I think if we can get to the finals, I think we'll have a better chance of winning than trying to get through the Lakers. I think getting through the Lakers will be the tough part.
and the Clippers too, depending what moves the Clippers make, if they move on with Paul George and who they bring in and what they
But I don't know. Lakers are just the
Lakers are
horrible
the
teams.
biggest threat for sure. And then you still got to look at Denver, and you still got to look at Portland. I think too is a tough team.
Yeah.
Phoenix could be a team that might start getting their stuff together. So I think they made some good improvements this offseason. So
Yeah, it just sucks that we're in the West, but I don't know. I think the Pelicans can do it because Zion Williamson.
if he stays
It,
healthy and Brandon
yeah,
Ingram keeps doing what he's doing, I think I think we're definitely gonna be a good team this year. I can't see us.
Not being a
And
good
and
team.
again too with the new rules with the play-in, where like the 7 through 10 seed with the play-in, that's gonna happen. So if we're in the 10th seed, we can still make the playoffs. We just have to do the play-in. So there's some good ways to get into the playoffs. So I'm confident we can get there. It's just I don't know. I wish we were in the East.
Yeah,
It's just it sucks.
I don't know because the East, there's only a few teams right now. That's kind of like, yeah, they got a good shot, but even one of those teams, we don't even know what's going to happen with that, and that's Milwaukee,
Yeah, but
because you haven't heard anything come out of Milwaukee since the failed uh,
that's the
uh, trade.
they're saying they kind of went quiet on the Giannis extension talk. So I wonder if that's interesting. So which would be good for us actually, because of the picks we got from Milwaukee. But then that's the thing too. Like there's still moves to be made, I think, by the Pelicans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I think with the picks they have, they can maybe get a big time player to come. I don't know who it would be. Hopefully not James Harden. I mean, I don't want
no, no,
to.
no, no, no.
But I mean, I think there's another move, a big move to be made. Now, obviously, I don't think it's going to happen this season, but next offseason with that free agency class and then whatever else, I think there's another big move to be made by the Pelicans. I just don't know when and what. So this could be a good young team. I'm excited. I really am.
Same.
And preseason basketball, I think, starts Friday. I think Friday is the first preseason game. I don't know who's playing. I think on ESPN it's the Kings and somebody else. Might have been Kings Trailblazers that might be playing Friday, something like that. So preseason starting this week, so that's exciting. And then next week preseason game, and then the week of Christmas you got first games of the season, regular season starting. So very quick turnaround for these teams. But I'm excited. I really am. It's gonna be good.
Yeah, and for the teams that didn't go to the bubble, they had a lot of time.
Yeah.
They had about 200 days.
That's why it was kind of upsetting to see. As much as I don't like the Warriors, that's because of Draymond. But I still love Steph and Clay. The reason why I think it was a lot of people were saddened by Clay's injury was because I think a lot of people thought, and I thought too, that the Warriors were going to have a good shot of contending this year with Steph and Clay because they had all this time off and they'll be healthy and they draft James Wiseman if he's anything like he can be. I think
Good.
that could be they could contend. So that's why it was kind of upsetting to a lot of people that Clay got hurt again. You know,
I mean, I still think that they'll have a shot, but with Clay out, it's definitely harder for them.
I think they can make the playoffs still.
Well, yeah, but whenever we're talking about the Warriors, we're not talking about playoffs. We're talking about finals. But yeah,
Yeah. I'm gonna make a prediction. You ready for this? Spurs
yeah.
not make the playoffs again this year.
Wow. Yeah. I think there's too many teams in the West now for the Spurs to just make the playoffs every season.
And can we talk about Memphis real quick? I'm surprised Memphis didn't make any big moves or try to do it. I feel like they were very quiet
I
this year.
guess they felt like they didn't have to make any moves because, like, sometimes, like, I
Nah,
don't know, like,
they were in 8th place going into the bubble, and they ended up not even making the playoffs. So I think there's moves to be made in Memphis.
yeah, but I don't know. I guess I don't know. I'm sure that they tried to make moves, but
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I was kind of surprised to see Memphis not try to be a little more aggressive. I thought because Ja is obviously amazing. I love Ja, and Jaren Jackson's a great guy too, great power forward. I thought they could maybe make a move or two. I don't know.
But who knows?
So I don't see Memphis being actually. I don't even see Memphis being that good this year. I think Ja's gonna be great, and they'll win some games, but like they're not gonna be that big of a threat to anybody, in my opinion. Northwell, San Antonio, or OKC. OKC is tricky though. OKC last year we thought wouldn't be good, but they were really good. So I don't know.
Yeah,
OKC.
but I don't know. I think with the loss of CP3 and Steven Adams, I don't
Yeah,
know. It's hard to say.
hard to say.
Like, I mean, they're really just have draft picks at this point.
And Minnesota's hit or miss too. We don't know what Minnesota's really going to be until we see it, I guess.
Yeah, but Minnesota's got some talent on that team now.
So there's what? Let's say there's 12 teams in the West now. If you
Yeah,
exclude Memphis, San Antonio, and what was the other team I was talking about?
Minnesota.
Okay, OKC. If you take out OKC, San Antonio, Memphis, the other 12 teams. I mean, it's gonna be
Yeah.
interesting.
So, yeah, it's hard to be in the West right now.
Yeah, So that'll do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Instagram at Sports Chat with DJ Matt 1. We'll be back next week with more updates and whatnot. So yeah. Thank you guys. Stay safe.